This meeting of the Barnstable Youth Commission is being recorded and broadcast on the Town of Barnstable's Government Access Channel in accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 20. The chair must inquire whether anyone is recording this meeting, and if so, to please make their presence known.
Sandra Merritt, I'm recording as a backup to taking the minutes.
Perfect. This meeting will be repaid via Xfinity Channel 8 or High Definition 1072. It may also be accessed via the Government Access Channel live video on demand archives on the Town of Barnstable website. And then next is roll call. Let me just pull up the attendance sheet. Connor O'Reilly.
Here.
Eric Arbogiev. Jaden Jeffries.
Here.
Blake O'Reilly.
Here.
Maddie Boyle. Mary Steinelber. Megan Garthy.
Here.
Michaela Stamfel. Piper Hunt. Shalonda Grant.
Here.
Sophie Macknick. I don't know if she heard me. Sophie.
Oh. Yeah, I'm here.
And then Daniel Gomes. All right. And so would anyone like to make a motion to act on the minutes of December 12th, 2023?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of December 12th, 2023.
Jaden Jeffrey seconds.
And so we have to vote on it. Connor O'Reilly.
Yes.
Eric Arbogiev's not here. Jaden Jeffries.
Yes.
Blake O'Reilly.
Yes.
Megan Garthy.
Yes.
Shalonda Grant.
Yes.
And Sophie Macknick.
Yeah.
Great. Now for public comment.
All right,
I have a public comment. I did say it prior to the meeting, but I'd like to make public comment if possible.
please.
I'm recognized by the chair.
Yep.
I'm Seth Burdick, and I'm your new town council liaison. And I just wanted to say hello and give you all my information. I'll enter my phone number into the record just in case anybody wants to reach me. It's 774-228-0308. If anybody has any concerns or questions or anything that I can do to help you. And my email address is seth.burdick@town.barnstable.mass.us, like all the other ones with a long ending on it. But so if there's anything I can do to help you, I just want to make myself available, and I look forward to working with you all in the future.
Thank you. Amy?
Want me to give an update on the youth job fair now, or do you want to wait until matters not
Let's
brought up
see.
on the agenda?
I think. Yeah, you can do it now. It's not on the
Right.
agenda itself, but now is a good time.
Okay, I just wanted to give the committee, the subcommittee an update. I'm Amy Harwood. I work for the Planning and Development, Economic Development Department for the town of Barnstable, and helping out with the subcommittee taking on the Youth Job Fair, which is on March 6th on a Wednesday. We sent out an early email to all of the businesses. There were 45 businesses that received an email and a link to sign up for the Youth Job Fair. 22 of those businesses have returned an application. And so we're off to a pretty good start. We've got a press release that will be going out through the communications department for the town and on e-news. The subcommittee should meet soon to decide who will be representing on the, I'm not sure whether they're going to do a podcast or a video, but George is going to be the point person to, to put that together with communications. But just wanted to give you that update and look forward to seeing you all again at the next meeting.
Like,
I don't know if they brought this up at the last meeting because I wasn't there, but I was put in contact. Well, sorry, I haven't been in contact yet, but somebody was telling me about the Women's League of Voters, which is like an organization. Did you guys talk about that? Okay,
Yes,
great. So
we talked about it at the last meeting, and I'm happy to, we're going to set a table aside for them that's next to the Cape Cod Regional Transit Authority. And I think we're going to put that into, the category of information resources for young job seekers. So they'll be over, like when you first walk into the gym, on the left-hand side, there was a table for the CCRTA, and we'll have the League of Women Voters right next to it. Does that sound good?
do you need me to give them like any information or anything, or like put them in contact with you?
I think if they sign up in the business application on the website, I'll send you, or George, can you send that link around to everybody? Or just the press release. The press release has the link in it.
Okay, great. Perfect.
Thank
All
you.
right, that's all I had. Thank you.
any other public comment before we move on? Okay. Amy? Okay. Thank you for coming. First on the agenda is the Treasured Life Initiative. So George, do you want to introduce that?
Here this evening, we welcome Marcia and Jennifer from the Treasure Life Initiative, which is a nonprofit that's just getting off the ground here on the Cape, and their focus is on human trafficking. So they want to come and kind of get to know people and talk to the youth commission about like what their mission is and what their goals are and possible potential partnerships between the two organizations. And so I met with them week before the holidays, and they're very nice people, and they're very excited to be here. They're worried about their technology, but other than that, they'll be good to go. So at this point, I'll turn it over to Marcia.
Okay, thank you very much, George. Yes, I'm Marcia Donnelly.
And I'm Jen Heavener.
And we are both members of Shared Hope International. We are trained members with Ambassadors of Hope. And I think George is going to give me instruction as how to get over to the video, George. Where do I do that?
So we're going to go under, you're going to hit share screen.
Okay.
And then you can hit advance.
Sorry, I'm going to hit what?
Advance, the tab on the top.
Okay.
And it says PowerPoint is virtual background.
Yes, sir.
And you should click on that and it should link to yours.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty cool. Just hang on 1 second.
You're a co-host, so you can just hit share.
Okay. It's got to get down there. We're getting there.
There you go.
There we are. Okay, thank you. And then to advance it, George, you said I do what?
There should be a tab either on the bottom or the top. I can't see it on my screen. That'll say like 1 out of 20, because I think you got 20 slides. And you just click an arrow that points either way. That'll click it forward.
Okay, I see the tab when you do it, but I don't see it when I see 1 out of 20 there. Sorry. Everybody, this is the first time I've done this, so I'm trying to figure it all out. Is it still under the shared screen where the tab is?
I don't see the 1 out of 20 now, so it's not on my screen. It's only gonna be on yours. So there should be a couple like triangles facing several ways, and one will click forward, one will click back.
Yeah, I see that. Oh, maybe that was it.
There you go.
I'm just going to try clicking on my arrow and see what happens, but it probably won't work from here. Anyway, here we are. So we are the trained volunteers, and we are going to talk about first of all, what Shared Hope does. And they are a nonprofit organization involved in ending sex trafficking. They have programs to help prevent trafficking, to help in the restoration of those who have been trafficked, and also they fight for better laws to protect victims. So Jen and I are here today to share this video with you. We love the youth and know that you folks are the experts on the network, on internet, etc. So we want to share some of this with you. And you may have had this kind of awareness training before in school. So if it's repetitive, forgive me, but we will, hopefully it'll be useful for you. So first of all, I want to say that, oops, let me get that little tab again. It disappeared on me. Sorry, George. I don't know why it keeps disappearing. Nope. It comes and goes, and now it's not there. No, I can't. George, what would happen if I just ask you to do an advance? Can you do it from there?
You'd have to close out of it, and then I'd have to do it. So just why don't you close out of it, and I'll do it.
You want me to close out of it? Then I
No, I'll just run it for you. Just tell me next slide.
Close. I'm sorry. Close out of this slide.
Close out of your presentation right now. I'll reopen on my screen.
Okay.
Is that what you're looking for me to do?
Yeah. Would you think that would work better? Because that little tab has disappeared, and I do not know where to find it.
Okay.
I don't see anything down here. So I go to share screen again and then just click out of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I did, and it's still up here. Want me to try it again?
It's loading on mine right now, it says.
Okay. Okay, perfect.
Hey, George,
Yeah, Gino.
while we wait, I just wanted to give Lake a shout out for her being the top 5 in the Poetry Out Loud.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Lake.
Great job with that, Lake. Fantastic. Good luck. Good luck with the next stage.
Thanks. I don't even know what we're doing yet, honestly. They didn't even tell me.
Yeah. I think you guys qualify for the regionals, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think we have to like, I don't even know, we have to like maybe say our poems again and like compete against all 5 of us and then one person goes. I'm not really sure.
All right, well,
But
we're rooting you on.
thank you.
Let me know when you're ready.
Okay, I am ready. You can go to the next slide.
Another one?
Yeah, to slide 4. I'm only seeing the one that I had up there, which
So
was
we
the,
have to select which screen we want to see, I believe, right, George?
Yeah, you probably do. You'll probably just select mine.
We have to select George's screen to see
and
the slide.
how do we do that?
On my platform, it's right in the middle. It says screen share, and it has a parentheses 2, which is a drop-down menu, and you can select Marcia's or George's screen.
I've got one participant and multiple person advanced sharing options. Oh boy.
I don't know where it is on a
Those
laptop.
participants now can see your slides.
For me, it's like it says view options at the top and then you can click that and then it says which screen. And I have a laptop, so I don't know if that's the
Yeah,
same.
mine's a laptop too. It's saying who can share, all participants, who can start sharing, all participants.
All right, I'm gonna do that. I'll go back in.
Just, I'll just say, I'm going to be bringing up some difficult topics tonight. And if something I say causes you, any of you, to become upset or angry or triggers you in any way, I want you to know it's okay to leave the room. You can go to the next slide, George. So we're going to talk about what sex trafficking looks like in the U.S. And I'm just interested in knowing how many of you have had sex trafficking awareness training in school. Is this something that's been presented to you already? No? Okay. Then let me ask, what do you think sex trafficking looks like in the States? Any idea? No? Okay. Well, then hopefully this presentation is going to be informative for you. If you can go to the next slide, George, thank you. So we're going to look at some common types of sex trafficking in the U.S. And you may have heard of a guerrilla pimp. Well, that's somebody who uses physical abuse to control victims. Then Romeo, on the other hand, is somebody who uses romance and love and tries to get a loving relationship with the victim. A CEO is somebody who treats sex trafficking as a business and promises money. The last one is gangs, and they exploit victims to benefit the larger group. Now, the middle section there, familial, is another form of trafficking. And one way that this takes place is in the home by previous generations, or through survival sex, which is selling oneself or a family member for rent or food or lodging or any basic needs just to get by. Or family members may sell a child to feed a drug or alcohol addiction. Unfortunately, about 70% of sex trafficking occurs within a family, which is so sad. And I want to spend a few minutes on online exploitation. This includes sextortion, which the FBI defines as a serious crime that occurs when someone threatens to distribute your private and sensitive material if you don't provide them with images of a sexual nature, sexual favors, or money. or it can be the creation and distribution of sexual abuse material. Unfortunately, nudes has become a cultural norm for many youth. This can be used against them through sex trafficking and online exploitation. Tell me if you think which of these might be the most common types of trafficking that might take place on Cape and in the States. Anybody have an idea or comment? Okay, we're going to go on. Oh, sorry. Somebody did raise their hand. I'm sorry.
I was gonna just say, the online exploitation would be like the most common.
It has become the most common. Thank you, Mary. And then we will get more into that, but you're absolutely right. I want to ask another question. How many of you have younger siblings that go online? I want you, as we're going through the rest of these slides, to picture those younger siblings while we're talking about the topic. Think about what your siblings would do if someone online knew their name, or your parents' names, or your address, or maybe even your pet's name. They would probably think that this person was a friend. And so we need to protect them and help them have online safety and boundaries. You can go to the next slide, George. We're going to watch a video to show why it may be frustrating to connect adults or connect with adults, with your parents, about tech. Let's see if this works, George. See if you can get that movie going. No way. It should be down on the bottom left corner, the little arrow, like where you usually go to watch something on YouTube or.
Yeah, there's no link here for anything. Do you just want to move on?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. So basically what that slide was about, or that movie was about, is just parents are overwhelmed with all of the tech that's out there. Parents and grandparents, they're using it and they don't know how to use it. I hate to say I'm one of them. And so it can be very frustrating. And there are so many apps out there and parents are not aware of what they are. Probably you aren't aware of what they are. Actually, there's the slide up. How many apps do you think are available for download right now? Just somebody take a guess. Your wildest guess.
Like 10,000. I have no
Okay.
idea if that's correct.
Okay, no, good guess. Actually, George, go to the next slide. Can you believe that? 8 million plus apps are available. And no wonder this is beyond overwhelming to parents. So if you could go to the next slide, George. 4.55 billion people, strangers, are on social media at any time, interacting with you. The scary part is that 1% of any given demographic is criminal or evil. So let's do the math. That means 1% of that 4.55 billion strangers that are criminal, evil, or are criminal, evil, or predators. That means that there are 4.55 million predators hunting online for victims, just like you, your friends, your siblings at home. Go ahead, George. Studies show that there are 500,000 plus predators online at any given moment, and they often have multiple profiles. And unfortunately, 50% of the victims are between 12 and 15 years old. So you may have siblings. I'm not sure how old you students are, but you may have younger siblings online, and they're a big target for this. This is a global issue entering through a device, unfortunately, that we gave you. What does WWW stand for? Somebody tell me.
World Wide Web.
World Wide Web, sure. So it's not the US Wild Web. It's not the Massachusetts Wide Web. It is the global, the World Wide Web. And every time you click online, you are now a global citizen with different rights and with a lack of protection. So let's see what's happening online that is so bad. Go ahead. Thank you, George. Predators are using the internet to spot, groom, and exploit victims, vulnerable victims. They're fishing for your weak spots through posts like, "I hate my life," or "My parents suck," or "I'm lonely," or "My parents are at work every night until 10. The predators have programs and they search for these words. They've done their homework on you. They've studied your social media. And if you're not set to private, you have given them all the information they need to use against you to get what they want. Grooming and exploiting come after they spot you. And this works because we all have vulnerabilities, weak spots, or even wounded areas that can be used against us. We all have times when we feel lonely or that we don't fit in. We all want to have friends or maybe romantic relationships or to be a part of things. That's normal. But predators are experts at finding our vulnerabilities. This is how they make their living, and they are good at it. Sometimes, and I'm not sure if you can see that list of vulnerabilities on the side, but there's quite a long list there of ways or vulnerabilities that they are looking at in each one of us to see if they can snag us. And sometimes even being a good friend can be a vulnerability. Traffickers use their online relationship with you to manipulate you. They may make you feel like you are responsible for their bad day or something not going right. And then say to you, if you don't go online with them or do what they want, that they're going to threaten to kill themselves if you don't give them what you want. Go ahead, George. So what does the first step grooming process look like? I've already mentioned that the trafficker gathers information about you, like where you go to school, what sports, what music, what movies you like. They may say things like, "Oh, you play soccer. I do too." Coincidence? No, they're saying whatever it takes to keep you interacting with them. Often they will try to get you to move to another app to chat privately. Then they build trust by saying things like, "No one understands you. I'll be there for you every day after school to talk with you. I get it. My parents are strict too." These predators are masters at deception. They will try to establish secrecy with you. Please know that if any adult in person or online wants to keep you to themselves or things that you are doing with them secret, it is not a healthy adult. Tell a trusted adult. Keep telling someone until they hear you and believe you. Another thing they might do is send porn or ask you very graphic sexual questions to test your boundaries or to shock and scare you. Sometimes we want or need the relationship so badly that we participate in the things that make us feel uncomfortable. Think again of how your younger family member would respond to the situation. There's another video, but you're not going to be able to get it. So we'll bypass that. Sorry, the videos were pretty good, but maybe another time in the future we can see them. So you can go to slide 15, George. This is about sexting. There's sexting and sextortion. Sexting is sending a nude or partially nude photo of yourself or someone else. Too many teens think this is a normal part of a relationship. It's not. It's not worth the risk to yourselves and your future. Let me tell you why. Did you know it's illegal for a minor to sext? If you share a nude, it is considered child pornography or child sexual abuse material. Sometimes 18-year-olds are dating younger students, but if an 18-year-old asking for a nude or an 18-year-old asking for a nude picture is actually illegal and can get them up to 10 years in prison in some states. It's not worth the risk. But what if you do send or receive a nude or send revenge porn, or you know somebody who's done that? Talk to a trusted adult. Get the right help to clean up your online life before it ruins your future. These things can block your entrance into college or stand in the way of the job you want. Not worth it. Don't sext, ever. Sexting can then lead to sextortion. This rapidly increasing crime is when predators use pictures or sensitive and private information to threaten you because they want money or goods. There's been a 79% increase in predators asking for money instead of more pictures and or videos. Cash App is the most frequently used way that they do that. Many are operating through syndicates out of other countries. It's a huge moneymaker. Go ahead, George. And boys, beware. 82% of trafficking victims used to be females. Now, Homeland Security confirms that financial extortion increased by 1,800% in 2022, and 93% of the victims were teen boys. For your information, 51% of those cases were on Instagram and 31% were on Snapchat. Everyone is a potential online victim. So next is a video, and I'll just give it a bit about what the story is. It's about a teen girl named Allie, and she had two friends, and they grew up from elementary school, and they were in high school, and they were very good friends. They shared everything with each other, and then Allie started changing a little bit, and she started being really tired in school. She argued with them. She was always on the phone and texting constantly. She got angry with them when they asked her what was wrong. Like, Allie, you're not yourself. And she just got angry with them. So they were very concerned. They really loved their friend and they were concerned. So they went to a guidance counselor and spoke with the guidance counselor. And through that, they were able to help Allie get out of the situation she was in with the trafficker. So you can go to the slide 18, George. So I'm just asking you, are you willing to be a nosy friend? Allie's two friends were nosy. They cared about her, and so they asked questions. They didn't get answers from Allie, and they were more concerned, so they went to a trusted adult, the guidance counselor. And so we need to be nosy neighbors and to care enough to help your friends or maybe even a family member. Go ahead, George. So what do I do, you ask? Well, there are some really simple things that you can do. Stop talking with them and block them, period. If you get some kind of communication from somebody online and you just have this gut feeling that it's not right, then just stop talking. You don't need to be polite, block them. Another thing you should do is to save your conversations and take screenshots, because you may need to give that information to police later on for them to track down the traffickers. Another one is report them to the app, so the app can investigate and help other youth that may end up being trafficked. The last thing is you can get help through the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, NCMEC. Their experts can connect you with resources or for you or your friend or somebody you know for healing, and also connect you to law enforcement. This could lead to justice for you and also help save the lives of others. So if there's anything that you take from this short presentation, which I have had to kind of make shorter than just to fit it into our block of time here, please remember these next 4 rules. George, go ahead, for the digital world. Remember that we want to empower you to be in control of what you post and what you watch online. Know that you can say no to anything that makes you feel uncomfortable. Know that you are not alone. You have friends and safe adults who will help if you reach out. And make sure you have a safety plan in place to know what to do and who to go to if something happens to you or a friend online. We really believe that you are the experts of your own tech journey, and we just want you to stay safe and be aware of online predators who want to take advantage of amazing youth like you. You are the experts. We need your voice in this fight to keep yourselves, your peers, and even your families safe online. Now, I realize that you are very special students in this group, and you probably haven't been presented with somebody online trying to trap you. But Jen's going to speak to this in a moment, but we know that it's happening all the time. The statistics are just going through the roof for the number of youth that are involved online and have been trapped by this sex trafficking, sextortion, and sex exploitation. So I'm just going to let Jen have a little say here, and then we will be finished.
Hello. I just wanted to talk about, we've shared information from an organization called Share Hope International, which we are using them because they have created a lot of great materials to use for educational purposes. But I wanted to talk briefly a little bit about what Treasured Life Initiative is. We are an organization that was started just about a year ago on the Cape, and our ultimate goal is to want to provide safe housing for a recovery program for those who are survivors of trafficking. And that is our long-term goal. But right now what we're doing is we're meeting with groups like you, and we are wanting to be able to partner, especially with groups like you, because we want to get the message out that this is something that is happening. And we know that you guys are the experts on being able to reach your peers. We know that your peers will listen more to somebody like you instead of older women like us. So if you would like to reach out to us, we have a website. Our website is treasuredlifeinitiative.com and
.org, Jen.
Or .org, I'm sorry, .org. And we also, our email is info@treasuredlifeinitiative.org as well. And we would love the opportunity to be able to connect with you. We are in May going to be having a walk that is going to be both an awareness event, but also a fundraiser to try to move forward in being able to provide the safe housing here on the Cape, because it is such a tremendous need. Our big emphasis in wanting to discuss online safety with you is because ever since COVID, the numbers have increased exponentially to 97% now occurs online with sex trafficking issues. So again, we just are hoping that you've enjoyed this presentation, even though it's a difficult one, that you've learned something. And if you want to reach out to us and partner with us, we're available. Thanks.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Being here.
Yeah, thank you. That was a really good presentation.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
George, I guess we will sign off now.
Okay, thank you again for coming.
Unless anybody has any questions, but I know you have a busy agenda.
Anyone got questions?
No, just wanted to say thank you guys for coming and giving this presentation to us. And it's definitely something that we will consider working with you guys on.
Thank
Wonderful. Wonderful. We look forward to that. All right. Good night, everybody.
you.
Good night.
Have a good night.
So I'm just gonna say a quick word about the next presentation. So I think the person from Avangrid is going to be joining us in a few minutes. And they're the energy company that's been working on the wind power projects in the town of Barnstable, and it's already underway in Centerville, and they're planning on doing a project in Douses. And then there's another group, Save Douses Beach, which you guys have probably heard about, which is pushing back against it for environmental concerns. So, and here she is now. And she's just going to be giving us a presentation on like sort of what Avangrid is trying to do. So yeah. Hello.
Hi guys. So first I just wanted to check in on kind of timing. Do you guys still have 15 minutes? Do you want, I can try and shorten things up. Like I want to be respectful of your time tonight. So let me know what would work best for you right now.
I think somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes would work great. Just you have a couple of things to do. We only have the Zoom till 8, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I will try and move quickly through my presentation. So I guess before I get started, I just want to kind of get a sense from the room, how many folks know a little bit about offshore wind, have heard of Avangrid, have kind of heard about offshore wind projects in Barnstable, maybe just like a show of hands. All right, great. Always just try and get a sense from the room. So it looks like I can share my screen. Just give me 1 second. And all right, can you guys see that? Yep, okay, great. So just at the top, I have a lot of slides tonight. I'm going to run through them pretty quickly, so I'm not going to read everything off every slide, but I will send this deck over to you guys so that you can review it in your own time. And if you have any additional questions or want me to come back, you can always email me any questions, or I'm happy to come to another meeting as well. And fair warning, I have 2 kittens, so they might jump up at any point, so my apologies if that happens. So to start, my name is Rachel Martin. I grew up on the Cape. I grew up in Orleans. I went to the Cape Cod Lighthouse Charter School, and then I went to Nauset Regional High School. So from the Cape, very familiar with Barnstable in both kind of growing up and now in my professional life working in offshore wind. So as a little bit of an introduction, I work for Avangrid. So Avangrid is I'm sorry, can you guys see this very distracting top bar on here? Try and get rid of that, or at least move it up. Okay. So I work for Avangrid, which is a publicly traded company in the United States. We have headquarters in Orange, Connecticut and Portland, Oregon, but our US offshore wind office is based in Boston, Massachusetts. That's where I spend the majority of my time, in addition to being in Barnstable. I think the main takeaway from this slide is that Avangrid is one of the biggest onshore renewable operators right now in the United States. We have a really wide range of programming in renewables, including solar, geothermal, and onshore wind power as well. And we are a member of the Iberdrola Group. So the Iberdrola Group is an international energy and utility company that has offices all around the world, has utility companies, renewable energy projects all over the world, and very specifically has one of the biggest portfolios in the world of offshore wind. So just to kind of orient folks to what I mean by that, this is kind of a broad map. And again, it looks like since I'm sharing, I'll try and maybe minimize this for folks. What that means is that we have offshore wind projects kind of spanning the globe. So just wanted to give folks a sense of some of the experience that we bring to our projects here in Barnstable. So you'll see the projects that you folks may have heard of here: Vineyard Wind 1, Park City, and Commonwealth up here in New England. So I want to cover, I think it's important to think about kind of the who, what, when, where, why, and thinking about the work we're doing here in Barnstable. So I wanted to really quickly run you through, the who, what, when, where, why of offshore wind in New England. So to start kind of on the why, offshore wind is taking place all over the world. We're kind of just getting started here in the United States, but is a really long-standing kind of infrastructure type of electricity type of utility around the world. And when you look at the United States, New England, and very specifically the southeast coast of Massachusetts, is a really prime location to look at offshore wind for a few reasons. One of which is wind speeds. So if this graphic here on the left shows average wind speeds offshore in the United States coast. So you'll see that around Cape Cod, around the islands, is a really consistently windy place, much more than other places in the United States. Also, the coastal areas, coastal waters around Cape Cod and the islands are typically much shallower waters offshore than other places in the United States, which makes really good building ground for offshore wind projects. And then the second big reason offshore wind is really focused in on New England is the density of the populations here. We have a lot of major cities and a lot of people that need electricity. And since about 2013, a lot of power plants or things that generate electricity have been going offline. Retiring coal plants, or one you guys might be familiar with is the Pilgrim Nuclear Power Plant is being retired. So we're actually losing ways to generate electricity right now. And the need for electricity in New England is growing every year really, really quickly. So New England, and particularly Massachusetts, is a really popular place for developers to look at offshore wind because it's consistently windy, much more than other places in the United States. There's really good areas to build. And also it's an area that needs a lot of electricity. Sorry about that. And a little bit about the when of offshore wind is in 2015, the federal government, more specifically the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management, designated these lease areas in federal waters off of Cape Cod. So every one of these little polygons here, these shapes you see outlined, are a different area that the federal government said, here's a place we would like to see offshore wind built. And they auctioned those off. So the yellow space that's highlighted here on this map is a space that my company, Avangrid, got the lease for in 2015. And I think this just showcases that this work and these types of projects have been in development and research since even before 2015. So over a decade of study of these areas, studies of wind speeds and different habitats and different ecosystems that are out there, all leading to kind of conversations that are happening today and projects that are being built today. Also, I should say, feel free to interrupt me at any time. I'm moving very fast, so can take questions at the end, but feel free to interrupt me. Just to give kind of another version of this map, these are the projects that Avangrid is working on, and I'll go over them in a little bit more detail, but just wanted to show kind of this different version of this map. So the three projects that Avangrid is working on near Barnstable and off the coast of Massachusetts are the Vineyard Wind 1 project, the Park City Wind project, and the Commonwealth Wind project. So these areas that are highlighted in green, orange, and blue are physically where those wind turbines would be that are going to be generating that electricity for these projects. So the Vineyard Wind 1 project is half owned by Avangrid and half owned by another company called Copenhagen Infrastructure Partners. It's an 806 megawatt project, meaning that there's going to be 62 wind turbines out in the ocean generating electricity for this project. It actually had its first power delivered this year, January 2nd. The first electricity generated by these turbines came into the grid in Barnstable, which is really exciting. South Fork Wind is another project that had electricity also at the end of December. But Vineyard Wind 1 is really the first large-scale infrastructure project to doing offshore wind in the United States. So really excited, a really proud moment for Barnstable to kind of be leading the way on the clean energy revolution, not only here in Massachusetts, but also for New England and for the country as well. Where this project is landing, so where that electricity is coming to shore, is underneath the paved parking lot at Couples Beach in Barnstable, and it's connecting into the grid. So, you know, plugging into where it's coming from offshore turbines, and then it's getting transported to, you know, your light switches in your home, in Hyannis and Independence Park. That's where our substation is. Our next project is Park City Wind. So this project is currently in permitting and developing, so it's not under construction yet. It's 100% owned by Avangrid. The lease area is about 40 miles from Barnstable. We are proposing landing underneath a paved parking lot at Craigville Beach in Centerville, and we're going to be plugging our electricity in to the West Barnstable Eversource substation. And just to kind of step back about what, you know, an 800 megawatt project looks like, that's the ability to generate enough electricity to power 400,000 homes or businesses a year. It's going to take 1.59 million US tons of carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere, which is about the equivalent of taking over 300,000 cars off the road. So the environmental benefits of these projects are incredible and really, really large scale. Again, not only for our state, but for our region and the country as a whole. And then the last project is the Commonwealth Wind project, which again is still in permitting and development. It's a 1,200 megawatt project, so it can hold, that lease area is a little bit bigger, can hold more turbines. So that project has the ability to power 700,000 homes and businesses a year, can take about 460,000 cars off the road, an equivalent of, you know, reducing our greenhouse gas emissions. We're proposing that this project lands under Dowses Beach in Osterville, and plugging into that same kind of West Barnstable substation. And again, I know I'm moving really fast, but we can go over anything after. I wanted to, before showing you guys some pictures of what the current Vineyard Wind project looks like and what those other projects could look like, just wanted to give a very not to scale kind of overview of how electricity gets from those turbines to homes and businesses on the Cape and elsewhere in Massachusetts. So power is generated at the wind turbines, which are again about 40 miles off the coast of Barnstable, 20 miles off the coast of Martha's Vineyard. That electricity goes under the stable seafloor, so underneath the seabed, to an offshore substation where the power is stepped down, which is just a way of saying that we make the power, we change it a little bit to make it safer to move through cables. Then that power goes through another subsea cable, and it lands using a process called horizontal directional drilling, which allows us to go underneath beaches and not kind of through beaches. So we're not trenching beaches, we're not digging a giant pit through the beach. We're going underneath the beach and coming up underneath paved parking lots here in Barnstable. And then we're using underground utility infrastructure. So we're going under public roads with utility cables to bring that electricity to substations, which then connect into the grid and then into homes and businesses. So to show you a little bit about what that looks like, these are some of the actual turbines that are out now on the Vineyard Wind 1 project. So a little bit of context about these. The blades that you're seeing are about the length of a football field, and one rotation of those blades can power an average home for a day. So how big are these? These are a little bit shorter than the Empire State Building and a little bit taller than the Eiffel Tower. So they're really, really big pieces of equipment. The boats needed to, you know, construct them and to build them are really, really big pieces of equipment. And there's going to be 62 of these for that first project, Vineyard Wind 1, which is very exciting. And so again, these are real photos out there. These are out south of Martha's Vineyard right now. That substation offshore that I mentioned, this is a photo of the Vineyard Wind substation. So again, this is like a 3-story building, essentially put on stilts out in the ocean to help step up that power and then step down to make sure that that power can safely move through cables. I just wanted to show a little bit more of what horizontal directional drilling can look like. So this is Couples Beach kind of during construction. This is the kind of perimeter of the staging of construction. And I wanted to show this photo because I know that when you think about landing a power cable at a beach, you know, there's a lot of concerns and a lot of things we go through in permitting to think about environmental impacts, impacts to, you know, beachgoers. You know, this is a really tourist space area. And so this is what construction looked like at Covell's Beach, and this is what the parking lot looks like today. So what you can see now from what that construction site was are some manhole covers pictured here on the right. What's underneath those manhole covers is something called a transition joint bay, where those big electrical cables change from submarine cables to cables that can run under our public roads to bring power to the substations. So, I think something that's really important, I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of construction taking place in Barnstable over the last couple of years, not only from the town's comprehensive wastewater management plan, so installing sewer, but also from this Vineyard Wind 1 project. Construction is limited, as a lot of construction is on the Cape, to winter months, taking, consideration for species like the piping plovers or different type of bats, different type of birds. So all of that is kind of part of our permitting process and how we get these projects approved. This is kind of a quick shot of where those underground utility cables are going to go. So this one furthest to the right, this yellow line is landing at Covell's Beach, and then underground utility infrastructure moving up to the substation here at Independence Park. Our proposed Park City Wind project would land here at Craigville Beach and then move through Centerville up to its substation. And then our proposed Commonwealth Wind project, we still are permitting a couple different variations of a route, so still thinking through which route makes the most sense, moving through Osterville and then connecting up to a substation as well. And again, I'm sure you guys have seen this construction. I know I have. Orleans is actually undergoing its sewer construction right now. So when I visit my parents, I'm very used to seeing similar construction. These are some photos from Vineyard Wind, the construction of that onshore utility. And what we like to think about is, these projects are causing disruption in Barnstable. They're causing disruption through construction. They're causing disruption through taking off sections of paved parking lots for the beaches during the winter. Building, doing construction on roads that are part of business districts. So we really like to think about what the benefits are to Barnstable for taking this leadership role in bringing renewable energy to Massachusetts and the region. One of those is agreements that we have with the town of Barnstable for tax revenue, for host community fees. So that's money we pay the town for being a partner in this project. Working with the town on sewer coordination for some of that sewer coordination so that we're not ripping up roads once for sewer and then a couple of years later for our projects. Replacing old water lines. A lot of water pipes in Barnstable are actually from the 1930s. So Avangard has been replacing a fair amount of that water line as well. And direct mitigation payments to businesses in communities which we're going through with our construction. So Centerville and Osterville. And then also the standards to which we're building our projects, which are not only up to, the highest environmental standards in the industry, but also even higher than that, working with the town of Barnstable and thinking about extra protections for, the really incredible ecosystems and environments we have here on the Cape, in addition to the aquifer that we all get our drinking water from here on the Cape. I know that was very fast. My contact information is up here, along with my colleague, Pat Johnson. So like I said, we can come back and take any questions. I know that was probably over 15 minutes, but just wanted to share that with you folks.
No, I thought you were, Rachel, I thought you were very good. Thank you very much for your time on that. I do have I'm going to ask a couple of very broad questions where, one, as someone who's a proponent of this, as you are, as a homeowner in Hyannis, what does this project do for me?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think one, kind of those broad environmental benefits we talked about, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts has been a leader in climate goals, and these projects do a lot to bring cleaner energy to our grid. So, you are reducing power resilience on fuels types that typically have really variance in pricing. So natural gas as a fuel source for our home, our businesses, cars, etc. Prices go up and down rapidly, especially during cold snaps here in New England. The pricing of offshore wind, while it has risen through supply chain and a lot of other issues that have been talked about, it's a very stable pricing when that pricing is set. So that actually allows a piece of the pie in electricity generation that is stably priced. So you'll see a lot more stability in pricing during cold snaps and during winters here. Second, I think the partnerships through the town of Barnstable, through the comprehensive wastewater plan, mean that taxpayers are saving money on, you know, something that the town is being mandated to do because our wastewater is really ruining a lot of ecosystems here in Barnstable and affecting not only a lot of species and environments, but also drinking water as well. So the benefits are, you know, that increase in tax revenue for the town, those host community payments, defraying costs, defraying multiple needs for roads to be ripped up multiple times. And then I think those broader environmental benefits would be kind of my top ones.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other question?
Yeah, I was just wondering, so from what I know, Save Douses Beach is like kind of like a pushback for you guys. Like a lot of people are kind of against the like wind energy project. But did you have like as much of this kind of like pushback from them when you were like doing this with what is it, Covels and Hyannis?
Yes, that's a great question. So I did not work for Avangrid then when Vineyard Wind was doing permitting. I know that, you know, we have met with Sacred Houses Beach a lot. They've been, you know, very vocal. They come to a lot of our meetings. I think a lot of the majority of their concerns are environmental based. So thinking about what is happening, you know, at the beaches, what is happening at our substations, you know, what is happening to marine environments and ecosystems as well. So I would say, from my understanding, I don't think Vineyard Wind has had much of a pushback at that time. I think there's been more resistance to these projects. And I think, you know, a lot more people are seeing what that construction looks like, seeing what that disruption looks like in town, you know, seeing what those implications can be. And I think that has gotten a lot more people interested and involved in the projects for sure. But no, I don't think Sacred Houses Beach, you know, existed when Vineyard Wind 1 was going through permitting and stuff like that. But I didn't work at the company then, so I couldn't speak to, you know, if there were other groups or other big kind of concerns. But I would say, you know, the majority of their concerns are kind of on the environmental end.
I just had one question. So it's like kind of based off of that. If you like could address like their concerns, like the Save Douses Beach concerns, like what would you say to them? Just like
Yeah, absolutely.
like
So
to
they
their
have a
concerns.
pretty widespread set of questions. So there are a couple specific ones we hear a lot. So maybe I'll speak to like 2 or 3. But again, happy to come back, you know, or if you guys have more questions, I can take those. I think a big one that we've heard is around the idea of electric magnetic radiation, or EMFs, kind of coming off the cables. So, you know, there are concerns that the amount of electricity running through these cables would be producing radio waves that could be dangerous. You know, and we have done a big part of our permitting, and a big part of being able to do these projects and getting sign off. We have to go through permitting at the federal level, at the state level, at the regional level, and at the local level. So some of the organizations we're working with are like the Environmental Protection Agency, you know, in the federal level, MEPA, which is the EPA's office at the state level. We have to go through the Cape Cod Commission, the Barnstable Commission, a whole kind of set of groups of people that are looking specifically at health and safety as a big feature. And, you know, we have produced kind of studies around what those EMFs would look like. And, you know, it's our understanding from those studies that we've done and looking at other projects, offshore wind projects using very similar cables, that it's just not of concern in the public health range that they're worried about. You know, it is similar to the types of radiation you would see coming off power lines that are above ground, right, that are running over our roads right now. And the different levels, I can send some more materials there, are, you know, similar amounts of EMF that, you know, you could have from a hairdryer or other items in your own home. Another one that I know has come up a lot is questions around our substations and the kind of types of materials we would have at substations, and that kind of leaking into the water table, or if there was like spillage of those contaminants. So to that, I would say, you know, a big part of our process, again, that we've gone through permitting, and in this instance, very specifically with the town of Barnstable, required, so this is the same for Vineyard and for these projects as well, really additional kind of containment for those substations. So a substation has a number of what's called transformers. So it's a type of electrical equipment that allows electricity to kind of move through the system. And each of those containers will have a set of containment under it, like a bathtub, like a pool tub underneath it. And then in addition to that, other sections, including those, have a second layer of tub, and then the project site as a whole has another one. So we are really going above and beyond, kind of standard substation design to really meet the needs as kind of we worked with the town of Barnstable to meet. So, I think our design team and our engineers feel very confident that, every step has been taken to, really, really reduce the risk of contaminants into our aquifer.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Rachel, that's a lot of great information. Thank you very much. Does anyone else have any more questions? Because I'm sorry, we're a little bit of a time crunch now.
No worries, it's totally fine. And like I said, I'll forward that PowerPoint along. And if you guys, if after Safeguard as Beach comes, you're like, hey, these questions came up, we'd love to have you come back and just answer these questions, or you just have questions from the deck, I'm always happy to come back.
Yeah, I would totally be interested in continuing the conversation at some point, because it's for me as a homeowner, again, a pretty much lifelong Cape resident, it's a big issue for us. The Cape's going through a massive transition right now, and I just think it's a great topic. So, thank you very much, and we will definitely keep in touch.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So wow, that's a lot of info we got in the last hour, huh, guys?
That was good though. I'm glad they came. That was actually really informative.
Yeah, I actually thought both were informative. I thought they're obviously two wildly different topics, but I thought they were both very informative for what they were. With that said, we only literally have 20 minutes left. So I think the major thing we should address right now is the food drive, because that is coming up pretty fast.
Yeah. And I just have to say one thing about the environmental thing really quickly.
Please.
So on January 27th, Saved Houses can't come to any of our meetings. I keep bringing it up and they're keep being like, no, I actually can't come. And I'm like, okay. So, but they did invite us to an event on January 27th, which is this Saturday. If anybody would like to go, it's from 1 to 5. And it's sort of I think there's a bunch of different environmental groups there who are all kind of in the email, she said they support a transition to renewable energy, but not at the cost of ocean life, land habitats, human health and safety, coastal zone communities. So I'm gonna go just to kind of get both sides and see how we feel. And if people who are on the environmental subcommittee want to go, that would be great.
I know for
But it's
personally, I can't attend. I got too much going on here in the building. So
yeah, completely fair. It's also really soon. So but I'm gonna be going, I think around 3 because I have something in the early afternoon. So if anybody would like to go, you can text or email me because she needs an RSVP. So otherwise I'll be going. But food drive. So I know you guys maybe have a lot of questions. Hopefully I answered as many of them as possible in that email. I tried to put literally everything in it. But basically we just need people to sign up right now. That's the main thing. We have the sign up genius, and if anybody's struggling to sign up, I know a few people have been. I can send out a text with quick step-by-step instructions if people need that.
yeah, I haven't signed up yet because I was waiting to see where you would need a body before. So who here signed up so far?
George, I haven't, but I was kind of doing the same thing. I was waiting to see where kind of people were needed, and then I was going to sign up afterwards.
Okay.
I think for right now, literally whenever is great. We're just trying to get as many people. We have 15-ish right now, I'd say. Flynn, I know you said that you have a car, and did you just sign up? I'm just wondering, did you just sign up for the truck shift?
Yeah, I did a couple weeks ago. It's in my calendar. But I also have a truck that I can use. I have my Volvo wagon, which is huge, and the trunk is really big in the back seat, but I also do have a truck that I can use.
Okay, yeah, that's perfect. Just as long as there's something. I'm just concerned if you had a small car, because generally there's a lot of bigger boxes, but if that works, it's good. So yeah, whenever people can sign up. is great.
Like, I'll
Do
be
people
there
have
with,
like,
I'll be there with at least one cruiser. I'm still working on the availability from my other guys, but
okay.
I'll be there with at least one cruiser. Now it's 2 locations, is that correct?
It's actually 4 locations, but
Okay, 4
one
locations.
car is completely fine, like as many
Okay.
as you, like
You'll
1 or
definitely
2.
have me.
Okay.
I'll see if I can get somebody else. My cruise is relatively small as far as bringing food.
Yeah, I think
to the
it's more as
location.
like a, hey, we're here sort of thing, and
Yep.
less of like a actually transporting the food.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
And we're doing
Did
10
you
to
know which
10 to 2?
store? Sorry?
10 to 2.
10 to 2, yeah.
Whatever store you want me at. I live in Katuitt. I literally am right down the street from Stop and Shop, but I can go wherever you think is more valuable.
You know, I would
I
do
think Stop and Shop could
dude.
too would be perfect.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
'Cause
Okay, then that's where I will be.
I was gonna say, I'm looking at the list right now, I'm on thing, and I'm thinking for me, I'm thinking Shaw's and Hyannis on 132 would be the spot for me.
Perfect.
And
So-
what are we gonna need? Tables, and are we doing signage, or what are we gonna do?
Yeah, so I was gonna actually ask about that. So the food pantry itself, we need, I think, 8 tables because we have 4 stores, 2 doors at each store. So we need 8 tables, and the food pantry has 6. So I was gonna ask if we could possibly borrow 2 from the HICC.
Yeah, I'll get you two. That's no problem.
Okay, perfect. And then Connor can probably pick it up from like one of the days he has hockey right before that, and then he can just transport it
Thanks,
to
Connor.
the place.
Thanks for volunteering, yeah.
Thanks, Connor.
All right. So what about signs and posters? Do we need to do that too?
I believe that Sue from the food pantry has it covered. She has flyers. I know she has flyers. They normally have like these like giant signs that are like this big, and then they just have a stand. They're like donate or whatever. I'll have to check how many she has because they might have to make more, but I think they normally have that covered because they had a ton of signs when we did it a couple months ago. So
All right.
I'll get back to you on that.
Do we have boxes to put the food in?
Yeah, so I am reaching out to stores for that. But again, the stores are normally the ones who have boxes. And if not, the food pantry has a lot of empty boxes as well. So I think we should be covered with that too.
All right.
All right. So do we need to do a pickup day, like where we get these boxes and stuff like that, or are we just gonna, how do we want to do that? Get the boxes to people.
Yeah, so on the Sign Up Genius, there's like 5 or there's 4 slots, I
I'm
believe,
sorry,
that are like pickup for all that stuff. I think Connor did 2 of them, and then I think probably the people from the food pantry are gonna do that because there's a lot of like the board members generally help out with that stuff.
Mhm.
So I think the people like they have like that sort of stuff covered. Like I think the thing we need most is just people to sign up for collecting. That's
Gotcha.
really the main thing. And transporting. If anybody has trucks or family members with trucks, that would be great.
I got a truck. I'll take care of Shaw's on 132.
That would be great. Perfect. Is there anything else?
Can I ask you this? My daughter is looking for community service hours too. Could they join us in that project?
100%, 100%, 100%.
Okay,
Do you
wonderful.
have the link for that? I think it was in the email.
No, he can't be on the chat. So
Okay.
I'll send it to you, Gino, tonight, okay?
All right, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
You guys don't realize he's undercover right now, so. All right, so I think other than that, we're all set with that, right? Everyone feel good?
Yep,
All right, if you haven't signed up yet, please sign up. This is important.
please.
All right, this is important. Yeah, so Flynn, we got like 12 minutes. What else do we have on the agenda?
I know Mary's not here, but for the One Love stuff, this week I'm gonna reach out to the people at Falmouth Academy, Barnstable, and St. John Paul to see if they have any time for us to come there. And then I also talked to the Sturgis One Love Club, And they are willing to help with like Barnstable if we need more people for Falmouth Academy or St. John Paul. They said that they would be more than happy to help us. So that's that for One Love. And I'll get back to you when I hear back from the schools. We talked about the job fair. And then it says Renee King, Barnstable Rec Commission Chair, so. George, you are muted.
Sorry, she didn't come tonight, unfortunately. Hopefully we'll get her some other time. But the last thing I'll say is about the youth summit. Waiting to hear back from speakers. The facility's booked. We're all set there. Just waiting to hear back from Hackerson and Kevin Rosario. I've reached out to both of them. Negative contact, but this was like that last time too. So do a little chasing. I'll continue to chase them tomorrow a little bit. I've said, yeah. So hopefully I have more to report in 2 weeks.
Sure. I don't have anything else. If anyone else has anything, I think for the most part, that's it. I really enjoyed the presentations.
Yeah, I thought they were great. I especially really like the avant-garde. I thought she was excellent.
Yeah. So do we have anything else?
No, you can make a motion.
All
Wait,
right.
George, one question.
Shoot,
Was Gino actually undercover or was that a joke?
it was a joke.
Okay, just making sure.
I
just
think
making
he's
sure.
driving to pick up his kids.
Can't tell you, buddy. I'm undercover. No, I am the passenger of a vehicle right now.
Who's driving?
My son
Oh.
Sounds pretty undercover to me.
going to hockey.
Oh.
And just like that, I got a text from Kevin Rosario, who is in for the summit.
Yay.
So, yep, so he's in, and I'll chase after Hackerson tomorrow.
Okay. So would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting, Lake O'Reilly.
I second Jaden Jeffries.
Perfect. Now we vote. Megan Garthy,
Yes.
Yolanda Grant. Jaden Jeffries,
Yes.
Sophie Macknick,
Yes.
Connor O'Reilly.
His phone died.
Oh,
So
sorry.
he-
And then Lake O'Reilly.
yes.
Okay, perfect. The meeting is adjourned.